Franklin Lock here behind me is one of the few locks and dams up and down the Caloosahatchee, separating Lake Okeechobee from the Gulf of Mexico. It's also the dividing line of the freshwater and the saltwater. Now, if we do get into rainy season and Lake Okeechobee is still at these high levels, well, that means that the Army Corps of Engineers could be flushing thousands of gallons through this dam to provide the structural integrity of Lake O.
So if the lake is too high by the time we start entering that busy tropical storm hurricane season, they're going to have to make releases. And the estuaries are going to be the ones that suffer from them.
Leah Redenbach with the Sanibel Captiva Conservation Foundation says they are concerned that the Army Corps of Engineers will not meet their target of about 13 feet by next month. Lake O is currently about 14 feet deep. While the Corps is releasing water, SCCF would like to see Lake O at a lower level.
Even at the current recession rates, it won't even be close to 13 feet.
Right now, the lake was dropping at a rate of about 0.02 feet per week, so it'll be about 13.3 feet by June 1st. SCCF says the ideal lake height is about 12.5 feet by the start of wet season.
That basically gives the lake room enough to add water to it as the wet season progresses and have enough water for water supply and environmental purposes.
FGC Water School's Dr. Barry Rosen further explained it's for the protection of the integrity of the lake.
It's for the integrity of the dike, the protection of the dike so it doesn't give way and they don't have to go to extreme measures to push more water out.
While SCCF is concerned it is too high, Dr. Rosen isn't quite as concerned.
There's not that much over. I think we're maybe half a foot to 3/4 of a foot overall average at this time of year. So we're below 14 feet, so we're in good shape.
And while the Army Corps does release water, Dr. Rosen says it doesn't have perfect control.
Well, we actually have very little control. 5 feet of rainfall fall in the lake every year. 5 feet of water evaporate from the lake every year. And if you look at the amount that's being discharged down the Caloosahatchee, it's just a fraction of that.
That said, SCCF is concerned if a large discharge does happen, it could provide ingredients for algae blooms.
And those releases will give nutrients to algae blooms that are in the river, in the fresh portion of the river, or even feeding red tide blooms that are out into the saltwater part of the estuary.
While red tide off our Gulf Coast has continued to subside, well, the Lee County Environmental Lab is still detecting small amounts of cyanobacteria. That's the blue-green algae just upstream of the Franklin Lock here, and obviously that's something that we will have to be watching over the next couple of weeks. In Olga, meteorologist Andrew Shipley, Fox 4.